What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode number 434 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, number 11 Philadelphia ranked, the most disrespectful and unprofessional lacrosse podcast you ever done, seen, and heard in the land. It is the Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast right here on the Underground Industries Podcast Network. KB and Deej coming at you here on the 4th of July, recording this bad boy because busy weeks call for just sitting down and recording on a holiday like real red-blooded Americans.
Hoorah! Y'all gonna get the most American deeds you've ever seen.
From the people that brought you American Dad, it's American Deej. Only
Oh,
on
what a
Adult
wonderful
Swim.
day.
Good morning, USA. We're going to recap everything that went down in San Diego for the PLL and WLL, and then we'll do a little preview for All-Star Weekend. I'll be down in Annapolis on Sunday, so if you're going to be there, say what's up. First All-Star game that will have either Deej or I in attendance. Obviously, Hughes was in Kansas City last year, but very excited to take in my first All-Star game. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at OTB LaxPod across the board. We're on every social platform, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're on everything. And, of course, subscribe to the pod. Subscribe to the pod. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. It goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow, helps us continue to hit new milestones, continuing to get new subscribers in. Keep leaving those 5-star reviews, though, because it helps us get into the algorithm and lets more people find OTB and all our good stuff here at Underground Industries. And, of course, subscribe to both the Underground Sports Philadelphia and Outside the Box podcast YouTube channels, youtube.com/@OTBLaxPod, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, and smash that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. What's poppin', Coach Deej? How we living?
Hey, had the week off for lacrosse, so I'm itching to talk about some. But it was a good break. Needed it. It was nice little relaxation before we have our last tournament next week. Next weekend's going to be a doozy for me between trying to get in and out of Chicago and be there for those games while also coaching the same weekend an hour away. So if you're going to be in Chicago, there's a very good chance I won't see you because I'm going to be bouncing around like crazy. But if you do happen to see me, stop me. Let's chat for a minute. But it was a chill week for you, boy. And I mean,
just a minute, no more than a minute though. Only
the
a minute.
Redwoods. Yes, please a minute. Just 60 seconds.
60
no
seconds.
More. I am on a very tight regimen schedule this weekend. I cannot bear more than 60 seconds per person.
Oh, that's incredible.
So if you pull up as a couple, hey, I got 2 minutes for y'all. Then I gotta go.
Oh, that's hysterical. But yeah, it's going to be a wild couple weeks. Second half of the PLL season almost on the horizon.
Redwoods
San Diego
out top.
was incredible. Incredible games out in San Diego. A lot of unexpected, I think, from a lot of avenues. And I just want to be the first to say I'm pissed that I just didn't – I wasn't thinking when we made our WLL picks last week, completely just blanking on the fact that the Palms were going to get the Matty Bus West Coast lacrosse bump. And I want to be the first to apologize for that one because it completely slipped my mind when we were doing our picks.
I didn't really let it slip. I had it in factor. When I picked the Charging, I felt like it was going to be a close game. And I felt like it could have teetered either way. I just felt more strongly about the Charging and the way they've played the last couple of weeks, especially with California coming off of rest. I was like, okay, this kind of favors the Charging a lot more than the Palms, but there was a touch of me that wanted to say West Coast was going to go 3-0 last week, and they were very close to doing it. Shout out Palms.
Yeah.
Great game, though. Phenomenal game.
They cooked. The Denver Outlaws also cooked, and I also hate myself for not going with my gut during our pick'em segment and saying, you know what, I'm going to go with the Denver Outlaws because you know who put in reverse Deej? Terry, Ryan Terefenko. And I said that on the podcast. Terry was going to cook, and Terry cooked. The Outlaws win 13-7 over the Whip Snakes. The Boston Cannons on Saturday Night Lacrosse get their second win of the year and take down the California Redwoods 15-12. The Palms, like we mentioned, they win 16-9 over the New York Charging on Saturday Night Lacrosse. And then on Sunday, the Philadelphia Water Dogs squeak out a nail biter, but they get a huge win over the Utah Archers 11-10. And then the California Redwoods in overtime, some Malloy magic once again, a 14-13 win over the Carolina Chaos. This weekend had it all, man. Like, I think this weekend in particular restructured our thought processes on how everything in the PLL is currently functioning, from just the overall standings going on their absolute heads to what an incredible bye week it was for the New York Atlas to not only get healthy, but you see, you know, the Whip Snakes lose. You see, you know, the Water Dogs having to squeak out a win, and their score differential doesn't change all that much. It was a positive bye week for the New York Atlas, and I think a lot of perspective, at least right now in the short term, has changed on the Maryland Whip Snakes, because I think a lot of teams are starting to realize how their offense operates, and if you're able to kind of just neutralize that midfield, you're going to have a lot of success against the Maryland Whip Snakes, because their leading scorers, Joey Spallina, hat trick. He had a great game, shot almost 43%. Colin Heacock was your next highest scorer, scoring 2 goals and shooting 40%. Aiden Carroll limited to 1 goal. Adam Patra limited to 1 goal. Rob Pinnell limited to 1 assist, 0 for 5 shooting. Sherwood Sunderland, who's been one of the best stories, I think, of this early first half of the year, limited to 1 assist, took 0 shots. TJ Malone, 0 for 4 shooting. Matt Brandow, 0 for 5 shooting. It was a rough day at the office for the Maryland Whip Snakes offense.
Yeah, I mean, you know, before I even step into that, like, I think a big story from this game is the fact that what people aren't talking about a lot of is how well Denver's defense and Logan McNaney are playing.
Yep.
They've only given up 47 goals in 5 games.
Yep.
In comparison to everyone else, that's drastically lower. Like, I'm looking at the standings. That's 30 goals less than both Atlas and Cannons. That's 27 less than Chaos. Yep. Redwoods have given up 68. Whip Snakes and Water Dogs have given up 66 and 63, respectively. The only team that's, like, relatively close to keeping people off the board, like the Outlaws are
the Archers.
The Archers, who have only given up 58, but they've only scored 59. Yeah. And I guess I shouldn't say too much, because Outlaws have only put up 57 this year.
And for reference, Utah's played 1 more game than Denver.
Right. So, like, that does change that output a little bit, because it's like they played 1 less game and have 2 less goals. And they have a whole lot less goals they've given up. Mm-hmm. So, like, I think the key to playing Denver that the Redwoods did a very great job of the first time they played them is getting at Logan McNaney early. Like, you have to get at that defense and Logan early and make them question themselves, make them, you know, timid and feel like everything matters more than it does. But like, the Redwoods have kind of been the only team that can crack that formula. I think the other game they lost this year was really just a matter of them not doing enough as Outlaws to win that game versus, like, truly being beaten. Now I kind of see why a lot of people have the Outlaws at the top of their power rankings right now when you kind of look at how their games have played out. But this past weekend was a masterclass by them in shutting down the Whip Snakes.
Yeah, They are playing really, really well, and I think it's no coincidence that when you get Pat Cavanaugh back in the lineup, your offense looks a whole hell of a lot more cohesive. It looks a whole hell of a lot more stable. Logan Wisnauskas, even with Pat Cav back, still playing very, very well. 2 for 5 shooting, 3 total points. Brendan O'Neill, a pretty productive game, 2 goals and an assist in this one. Shooting percentage way up from what we've seen. Obviously, it's still not great at just a tick under 29%, but it's getting there. And I think Brendan is slowly but surely like getting back into a groove. Jared Bernhardt was back. He had 2 goals and an assist, only took 2 shots. Dalton Young got involved in this one. Ryan Terefenko with that 2-pointer was huge, kind of swung momentum for Denver in a big way. And like you said, Deej, I don't think we're talking nearly enough about the Denver Outlaws defense. Obviously, we know what JT Giles Harris can do. He's a perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate every single season he's out on the field. Mike Manley coming back and playing at the level he's playing at is nothing short of awesome. Yep. And then I think one of the more unsung like trades of the offseason and on draft night was Denver going and getting Ben Randall. Ben Randall is just the perfect like even flow, steady Eddie defender, and we saw that for years with the Philadelphia Water Dogs. We've seen that all throughout Ben Randall's career, and he's just picking up where he left off, and he's now doing it for the Denver Outlaws and has made that defense just a formidable unit in the departure of Jesse Bernhardt to retirement, and they haven't skipped a beat since all 3 of them have been out on the field together.
Yeah, I think for Ben Randall, it's just a case where he went from being the top cover guy for the Water Dogs to coming over and being the general and the off-ball guy now. So, like, what he has to contribute to the team isn't nearly what he had to before. So he kind of feels, like, more relaxed in his role and, like, just being like, hey, I just got to support. Like, sure, every once in a while I got to go out and handle my matchup. But for the most part, I'm here to support JT and Greg and, anyone else on this team who gets beat. Because I don't have to be the top cover guy anymore. That's what JT's here for.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That Mike Manley is clearly still playing at a high level. So I don't need to be that guy out there causing turnovers and being super aggressive on the perimeter. I can do everything else that this defense needs in a leader. And then the other piece of their defense is they essentially have 2 guys you can't dodge on in the midfield. Uh-huh. We haven't heard a word about Zach Geddes all season, which is the best thing that can happen as a short stick D-mid. You don't want your name being talked about, and Zach Geddes is not being talked about. Not even because he isn't playing well, but because he is playing so well. He's not being talked about because he's not scoring. If he was scoring, we'd hear his name a lot more. But because he's not scoring at a high level, it's just the fact that he's playing shutdown D as a short stick D mid that we're not hearing his name, which is phenomenal. And then you already know what Terry's going to do. Has he taken a step back from where he has been? Sure. But he's still top 10 short stick D mids in the league right now. Like, I mean, I have him inside of that top 10.
Terry's, he's still very much top 5 for me.
I'd say, and there's some arguments for top 5. It all kind of depends on how you look at the position and who you have where, but there's conversations for him to be very high on that list. So for him to be playing at the level he's playing at, with Zach being almost like, to me, Zach has reached that Danny Logan stage that he was at a few years ago, where it was like teams were refusing to dodge on Danny Logan. I feel like Zach Geddes is reaching that stratosphere, and it's boosting this defense to a whole new level. Which is even funnier, you say, like, Zach Geddes isn't scoring, because in 5 games this year, Deej, he's already surpassed his his single goal total, like 1-point goal total from last season, and he's 1 point away from tying his total point output from all of last year in half the amount of games. But I just don't feel like this team puts as much emphasis on, like, the short stick D mid transition role as, like, what it was when it's first year with Chaos. Did he play more than 1 year there? Yeah, he was 2 years. He was 3 years, 2022 to 2024. Yeah, but I feel like those, like that time with Chaos, like if you're not going to go down and choose a short stick D mid, you're not going to have a position long, especially with Towers there. Like when he first got there, like that's what they want. So I felt like he was, maybe if he wasn't scoring as much, like he might not even been scoring as much, but like he was so much more involved with the offense, taking more shots, being down the offensive end more than like what we're seeing now. And I feel like that's why we're like not talking about him as much.
And he's got his best shooting percentage of his career so far right now, at 37.5%.
Dude's playing phenomenal. He's a large part of the reason why they're having so much success. Because then that, like, having a guy like him means you got to go dodge on Jake Piscino.
Good luck.
You probably don't want to do that, which really leaves you one midfielder to dodge on. That's tough because then it's like, okay, Denver knows where you're going with the ball. You got 4 options. You can go to your 3 attackmen, or you can go to that one midfielder that isn't being guarded by Zach Geddes or Ryan Tarafinko. And if Geddes and Tarafinko are on the field together, well, what are you going to do? They have a great formula, and it's working to the upteenth power, and nobody really knows how to crack it.
Yeah.
Denver's going to be dangerous moving forward, especially if Brennan can get back to being Brennan. He hasn't quite been Brennan O'Neill yet, and if he gets back there, this team, you might just want to hand him the cup.
I mean, I don't know if I'm going that, because like you want to see them obviously like be cohesive, and we all know the playoffs are a completely different animal than the regular season. But like we said, like they're very much in the mix in that Western Conference. Like I know we talked about Carolina, I know we've talked about the Redwoods, and both of them have had their moments, but like Denver is not going away quietly. They have one of the best young cores, if not the best young core, you know, outside of the potential that the Water Dogs have with who they brought in this year. We just haven't seen it, obviously, for a multitude of reasons. But what we've seen on the field from Brennan, Jared Bernhardt, Pat Cav, Logan Wisnauskas, Dalton Young, Graham Bundy Jr., from an offensive standpoint, and then you add in Zach Geddes, Ryan Tarafinko, Jake Piscino, and then that deep, like, they have one of the best young goalies in the league, like Logan McNaney, top 4 goalie in the league. They are a force to be reckoned with, and they're not going away anytime soon. And I think we said that last year when they lost in the championship. Like, it's hard to get back to a championship, but that team has the makeup to do it annually because they're so talented. And this is the second time they've kind of, you know, for lack of a better term, they've dummied an Eastern Conference opponent. They did it in Baltimore against New York, and now they do it here against the Whipsnakes. On the flip side here, DJ, I think the past 2 weeks have really flipped the perception of how a lot of people, I think right now, especially in the short term, myself included, people feel about this Whipsnakes team. Because I think they've kind of been, for lack of a better term, they've been exposed in a lot of ways where they were finding success early, and the past couple of weeks, both New York and Denver have kind of showcased how you can beat this team, and now there's a lot of film on it to really like go at their midfielders. If you shut down what they do in the midfield, you're going to find a lot of success, because then they're relying on, obviously, TJ Malone, who is an all-world superstar, and nothing against Joey. He's a rookie. He's still kind of getting, like, not every week is going to be what Joey did this week, and he was their leading scorer. And then on top of that, you're dealing with veteran Rob Pennell, who, when he's going, he can move the ball and distribute extremely well. But when you shut down that midfield and there's nobody there for Rob to pass to, it kind of neutralizes a lot of things that Rob does well right now at this stage of his career.
Yeah, I think another big part of that is it kind of seems like teams are more okay with them running and winning a lot of faceoffs. And kind of playing in that short 32-second offense, and they're kind of just forcing the ball down to the attack and like making them go, keeping their midfielders out of it. Like, you can get a face-off win and then they move it to a midi and you make the midi move it right away. They already know they don't have a lot of time. They're not really trying to sub a ton there because they only have so much time. And I also think that's a little bit of a cheat code against the Whipsnakes is if you stop that initial dodge that they have off of that fast offense in the 32, you're probably going to cause a turnover or a bad shot that leads to easy transition. So I think teams I think Denver did a great job of that this weekend. I thought Luke Weirman played well, but I don't think he, played at a level that was dominant. When I go back and look at faceoffs, I mean, he won 43%. So like he lost a majority of faceoffs, but I also don't believe that the Whipsnakes were scoring often in that early offense either. You play 32 seconds of defense, then you get a whole 52 of offense, and especially if you're getting a clean slave or a turnover with the D mid prowess and even your LSMs as offensively prowess as they are, you're creating a lot of good opportunities for yourself. So I think Denver's kind of found this cheat code and like telling Luke, like, hey, you don't have to win more than 50% of faceoffs as long as we can keep forcing teams into bad early offense, especially a team like Maryland where their whole plot is to get it to the midfielders and get downhill as fast as possible.
Yep. And I mean, on top of that, you look at the game flow of this game really flipped at that Ryan Tarafenko 2-pointer with 9:23 to go in the second quarter. Poitras scored his goal with 11:47 to go, and then you get that 2-pointer that swings things. Pat Cav scores off the assist from Brennan at the 8:39 mark of the second quarter, and then it goes scoreless the rest of the first half. Maryland comes out, Joey scores with 9:48 at the 9:48 mark in the third quarter, and then he scores at 9:42. So that was their quickest like offense there. 6 seconds in between, two Joey Spallina goals, part of his hat trick. But then Denver goes on a certified run. Brennan scores. Logan Wisnowski scores, assisted by Pat Cav. Jared Bernhardt scores, like, what is that? 15 seconds later. Then late in the third quarter, Pat Cav scores, and then Pat Cav scores again, close, like under a minute left in the third quarter. They went on that 5-goal run, sandwiched in between 2 Joey goals, but also that 2-pointer and Pat Cav's first goal. Was that his first goal? Second goal, excuse me.
Second.
Pat Cav's second goal of the game. There was no fluidity whatsoever. It's a testament to the defense for Denver. But then that run, that the offense that we've seen Denver go on multiple times in this era of Denver Outlaws lacrosse, even dating back to the Chrome, they know how to go on these runs and really like make it difficult for opponents to dig themselves out of, deep deficits.
It's something about the group of people that are on this Outlaws team, because even when they were Chrome, they were Whip Snake's Achilles tendon, thorn in their side, constantly causing issues for them.
We got to remember that for the picks.
Upsetting them when they probably shouldn't have. Like, I will never forget that the last time Chrome played Whip Snakes, right before, they became the Outlaws.
Yep.
The Whip Snakes just dominated the Redwoods the week before.
Yep.
And they came out and embarrassed themselves against Chrome the very next week. It's like, I don't know what it is about them being the kryptonite, but they're just Crimson Chin out here.
Yeah. We got to remember that when we do our picks. Whenever the Outlaws and Whip Snakes play, it's just hammer the Outlaws.
Yeah, because, there aren't too many times that Whip Snakes have beaten Chrome/Outlaws.
Yeah.
There's a couple in there.
We'll have to dig into the overall matchup records there, but hell of a game. And it cuts Maryland's score differential in half, and that was a huge benefit not only for New York, but it was huge for Philly. Even though they only won by 1, you're still digging out of that hole that the Cannons put you in, but it makes it a lot more feasible than it was had Maryland won this game and continued to stack onto their score differential. So I'm sure the Water Dogs were thrilled that, Denver came through and got a big-time win against the Whips.
It's not good for the entire East. The Eastern Conference is looking bad in that score differential department now. Oh, yeah. And if the Whips were to drop negative, the whole conference would be negative. Meanwhile, it's just chaos that's negative over in the West. I mean, the Archers are at 1, but as long as they got Dobson in cage, it's going to be hard for them to be negative. It's going to be real hard for them to be negative.
Yeah, so hell of a game for the Outlaws. The Whip Snakes, I don't know how I feel about them right now, but compared to how I felt about them about 2 weeks ago, it's very, very different. Speaking of maybe feeling a little different, I don't know if they got a little bit of their swagger back in this one, but I'll tell you what, the offense looked good. Boston Cannons 15, California Redwoods 12. This was a must-win game for the Boston Cannons. We talked about this last week. They had to win this one, otherwise it was kind of, just blouses for your season. The fact that they were able to kind of, go blow for blow with the California Redwoods offense, the way that they've been playing this season, especially in that second half where it just felt like every single second somebody was scoring. It was a tale of two halves. That first half was such a slow paced, kind of just set the tone. And then third quarter, it was just all out blitz initiative. Like the Cannons scored 11 goals of their 15 in that second half, and the Redwoods scored 10 of their 12 in the second half. Like it was just completely different games compared from first half to second half.
Yeah, and I mean, the big thing for me in this one is I don't know how the Cannons did it, but their defense just balled out.
Yep.
And it's like, that's the one thing that it pointed out to me in this game was that the Redwoods need more from their midfield. When their midfield is playing extremely well, when you have AD 88 Denenza giving you 1 or 2 goals, when you have Sam English giving you a hat trick, when you have Andrew McAdory giving you 2 and 1, this team is a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But when this team is so heavily focused on getting the ball to the attack and letting the attack work, it doesn't really work out. It only works out, when Dylan Malloy decides to have 7 goals in a game. But any other time, you can't rely on Mikey Bain, Chris Cav, and Dylan Malloy to put up 80% of your offensive numbers. You need your midfield to step in. And, that's what this game proved. It's like they shut down the attack, and then we had to scrap for goals elsewhere. Andrew McAdory showed up. Sam English showed up, but it was later in the game where, to me, I felt like Cannons already had the momentum. Once it went into halftime as tight as it was, Cannons were like, hey, we just got to press down the gas a little bit more, and we got it. And that's exactly what happened. Whereas I feel like the Redwoods were kind of stunned that the Cannons were even that tight or in that tight of a game with them and didn't really know how to respond. If the midfield is alive and ready, and some of this I feel is kind of on the offensive coordinator and such, this offense is so designed to get it to the attack and let the attack run it.
Yeah.
You have to be able to catch that earlier and start to balance it more and force more through your midfield. Or even the players on the field. The attackmen themselves say, hey, we're dodging a ton. We're not getting a lot done. Let's have our midfielders get in the action more. And then we can play off of that. I feel like they make that, because I felt like they made that adjustment at halftime / early third quarter. If they make it earlier, they probably win the game.
Hey, I just want to say, I talked about it last week. I brought it up to Brian Holman, and he talked about it, and he was thrilled I brought it up. That motherfucker Will Donovan did his thing on Chris Cav. I know Chris still got some, but that was one of the best performances, and obviously a lot of that goes into just familiarity from the Notre Dame days, but to step in where Chris Cav obviously has professional experience under his belt now, and Will Donovan has a couple of games under his belt. First time playing close D, too. That's a tall task, and I thought he played extremely well and was a huge part of the formula for the Cannons winning this game.
Well, it was that, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that OG got the Dylan role. And I thought OG played great against Dylan. He's not a easy guy to defend and stop from getting the 5-5 and taking his shot. And I felt like he made Dylan's day extremely hard. Looking at his defensive stats on the day, I mean, he only had 1 caused turnover, 10 touches, no GBs, no penalties, though. So I think that's huge, not picking up any penalties against a guy like Dylan Ward or not making any simple mistakes against a guy like, not Ward, Malloy, is not easy. And then you hold him to 1 goal, no assists, 5 shots. And he turned it over 3 times. You forced 3 turnovers out of 17 total touches. You limited the guy to 17 touches. Dylan gets 40 touches a game. So you already limited how effective he could be just because he wasn't having the ball. And then when he did have the ball, you were basically an erasure. That's what you're looking for when you need a guy to step up to the plate against a guy like Dylan Malloy.
Yeah. I mean, against the Cannons here, it was the second fewest touches he's had in the game by 1. The fewest he had was June 5th against the Atlas. He had 16. And then every other game outside of that, he's had 30+.
And, that Atlas game, they didn't need him.
Yeah.
The Atlas game was heavy midfield.
Right.
So it's which is why, one, they won that game, but two, which is why like I feel like this team needs to go back and look at some film and games like that and see what works so well. Like when the midfield is going, he doesn't need as many touches, but he was still uberly effective in that Atlas game because he's like, hey, I'm not going to touch it as much because our midfield is balling, so I have to make my touches count. It's really easy for this offense to flow on all levels when they allow it to be balanced.
Ryder Garnsey had one hell of a weekend, though. I don't know if he listened to the pod and we were just like discussing everything last week, but my boy popped off and had a hell of a weekend.
I'm glad he started against Chaos. I said
6 points.
I said he maybe should start against Chaos. He made me sound really smart. So thanks, Ryder.
6 points, had that hat trick against Chaos. Shot really, really well. Like, what was that 40% overall for the weekend? He shot on 14 shots.
Mm-hmm.
He had 47 touches against the Chaos. And even in a more, minimal role against the Cannons, still had 2 goals on 4 shots, shot 50%. I was very impressed with Ryder's weekend. He looked like Ryder Garnsey that we know he can be.
I think I'm ready to put him back in the starting lineup and move Mikey Bame to midfield.
Yep, I'm with you.
I think, he's in running Mikey out of the box, he's not going to get the pull. Yeah. Not when McAdory's on the field, not when Denenza's on the field. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're giving a leading goal scorer in his college program's history a short stick matchup often. And he's got great vision for the pass. So if they slide early, you're going to get tons of goals. Like this is a great movement. Ryder's already playing at a high level. We know what Ryder can do down at that attack spot. And he seems to be a little bit less let the ball die on my stick now. Like I feel like he kind of trusts this iteration of the offense more than he's trusted past iterations of the Redwoods offense. He's like, hey, I have Chris Cav here. I have Dylan Malloy here. I have Andrew McAdory here. These guys can create for themselves and do basically everything I can do. So I'll only do a lot when I need to and let these guys kind of shine a little bit more. We know Ryder always rides hard. Like it's such a great movement in my opinion to put him back down there and then run Bame out of the box. And if Bame doesn't work out of the box, I don't know, go sign Thomas McConvey out of the player pool.
Can I give you a hot take
there are
here?
Options.
Can I give you a take here? Because just watching this weekend, I know he got banged up in, I forget which game. I think you got to sit Aiden Denenza for a week. I think you got to sit him for a week, kind of just like let him kind of reset a little bit. He's been banged up a bit. Help him get a little healthy.
Hear me out.
I know he hasn't been in the lineup, but when you put him in, and I know he's our guy, but I'm just saying, just from a pure like game watching perspective, JB did his job in that game against Chaos, and he looked great. After, what was it, 3 weeks off plus a couple of buys? Like I know it's like a limited role for him, but it gives you a different look, and it allows you to kind of just be a little more, it gives you a little more lineup maneuverability, and it allows you to get a guy who showed you a lot of promise at Champ Series and a lot of promise last season, who just hasn't looked right. He's gotten banged up. Get him off his feet for a little bit and let him get healthy, and then bring Aiden back into the lineup.
Hear me out. One, I think the way it's currently being ran is a matchup-based thing. It seems like Aiden Denenza is playing more in the games where you see a lot of D-mids push, transition, and kind of try and leave offensive midfielders on defense. And JB is playing more in those games where his speed is going to be a factor, and he's going to be able to get a lot of short stick dodges and kind of beat his guy to create offense. I like that plan. I like hitting on to Denenza a little bit more because of that plan. He's really great on the defensive end when he gets caught, and there are so many teams, especially out west, like Denver and Utah, love doing that. So it's such a like catch-22 with like that circle of guys on like who you trust the most to not only pick you up ground balls off the face-off wing, play good offense, but also be decent enough to not be a complete liability on defense. And I'm not saying that I think JB is a complete liability either, but as a defensive-minded coach, I want 80-88 over JB 34 on defense if someone's going to get trapped.
I mean,
It's just so
it's tough.
You need the offensive production, and JB is
from
going
that
to give
argument
you
too,
that.
because you talk about Aiden getting the ground balls. He's only got 7 this year.
Well, not even necessarily ground balls, just his defense. Like, he's able to just stick on a guy's hip and keep him from being a defensive liability when he gets stuck. Like, that's the biggest concern for me, because you still have TD, who wins most of them forward to himself anyway. Andrew McAdory is a ground ball machine, and then you still have Jarrett Connors playing LSM. Like, you don't necessarily need those short. And I didn't even say anything about Sam English, who's also a GB machine. Like, you don't need those other guys to produce GBs, but they have to be able to play solid defense when they get caught. And I think that's where we're seeing this change in the lineup, because JB's been in a handful of games. AD has been in a handful of games, but they also have each missed a handful of games. And I think it's mostly due to what kind of matchup they have and who they need to be in certain positions.
Aiden hasn't missed a game this year. He's played in all 6.
That's nasty.
Aiden's
But I do feel like
games.
I do feel like there are games he hasn't played as much.
There's been 2 that he got hurt.
Yeah.
Which was, I think, the New York game, and then he got banged up in one of the games this weekend. But Aiden this year, and this is, like, I still think Aiden's a very, very good player, and he's got a long PLL career ahead of him. But he's played in 6 games this year. He's got 7 points, 4 total goals, 3 assists. He's shooting 13.3%. JB's played in half the amount of games. This was Josh's first game since May 16th against the Outlaws. And he's played in 3 games. He's got 4 points this year, 3 goals, 1 assist, and he's shooting 75%.
Yeah, offensively, you got to have him in, especially with the way
he's got 1 turnover.
The way teams are about to put a huge emphasis on your attack, you got to have midfielders that can score.
Yeah.
And right now, to me, I think the best midfield line you have is some kind of combination of McAdory, English, Leo, and Bane.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like the 4 guys, and if you want to add a 5th, it should probably be JB at this point.
Yeah. Until you can get Aiden, because I don't think Aiden's healthy either. That's part of this equation. Like, I don't think he's fully healthy, and he's like overcompensating. So, like, get him off his feet.
Let's put him on the pup list and go sign Thomas McConvey.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying I'm a GM or like I know really what's going on, but that makes perfect sense to me. Go get help. Let a guy rest. Like,
just to see who else is on the roster, just to tickle my fancy here. Well, you know who they're also probably waiting for, Deej, because they don't want to sign a guy and then release him. Well, also, on top of that, you have Marcus Wertheim, who was on the protected this week. So he's in-house, but then they're also still waiting. And I know he's listed as an attackman, but I feel like he's probably going to play a lot of midfield. Finn Thompson.
How long are we finna wait?
I see what you did there.
You know what I'm saying? One, yes. But 2, like, this team is reaching – I shouldn't even say this team, because I think they're playing well. I think they're at a good pace. I think they're at a good position with their record and score differential and everything. But with the way Denver's playing right now, you cannot afford too many losses. So how long are you going to let your offense kind of be in this position where it's attack or die because you don't have enough midfielders that are dodging downhill and getting you good shots and creating opportunities? Like, and it's a cutthroat business. Do you want to sign a guy and then cut him? No, but sometimes you have to.
And I mean, on top of that,
and like also like McCombie's a great guy to just stick on your protected roster a couple of times. Like,
he can play both ways too. Like,
yeah. So like, say you run him for 2 games, and then you get Finn, and you're like, hold on, we want to see how this works. We're going to throw you on the protected roster. Like, all you have to do is throw him on the protected roster once every 3 weeks, and then nobody can touch the guy. Like, it's to me, it's not a horrible thing. Or you can always rotate guys through so that they're fresh. AD's hurt right now. Cool. Put him on the protected roster or put him in the pup list, and you rotate new guys through. That's how a roster's supposed to work. So I understand not wanting to do it, but like, you also got to keep putting yourself in like positions to succeed. And that's where the questions start to come in.
Man, Joe is gonna flame us when he listens to this.
You know he is, and it's okay. Hop in the DM and tell me how wrong I am, Joe. Please, I'm okay with that.
Oh man, but the Cannons, getting back to them, Coulter Mackesy he's a fucking man. He's so good. 4 goals in this one, 2 assists, 50% shooting. Brian Kelly had a great game. He had 5 points, including a hat trick. Marcus Holman had a hat trick, shot 60%. Jack motherfucking Regnieri is a dog. He is a dog and a half, man. That dude, I love his quote
up.
that he said, everyone he goes against is faceless. It doesn't matter who it is. He's going at him. He is a demon out there. And he had a great game. Shot 50%, 2 goals and an assist. Mikey Weishauer, 2 goals in this one. Graydon Hogg. I think Graydon Hogg's making a really good name for himself to be a complimentary piece on this Cannons roster. Mick Kelly down game, in terms of what we've seen over the past couple of weeks, but they didn't really need him to do all that much. He was out there kind of doing, the Mick Kelly things that won't show up in the box score, and I thought he still played very, very well. And again, their defense showed up in this one, but hell of a game from the Cannons.
I think he just ran into arguably the best LSM in the league.
Yeah.
Like, that's another thing. We haven't talked about Jared Connors because we have had 0 reasons to talk about Jared Connors. He has been an absolute lockdown LSM all season long.
He has been his whole career.
It definitely is, but like this year in particular, like midfielders can't score on Jared Connors. Like none of them. Nobody's doing anything to expose Jared Connors. And it sucks for Mick Kelly, who ran into him again this week after he's been playing so well and filling in that Matt Campbell role, like many people like wanted him to do. I felt like he has stepped up to the plate, but then you run into a guy like Jared Connors, and it does not matter. Yeah, it just doesn't, and that's good and bad. Great for the Redwoods, but hopefully it's not too bad for the Cannons. Hopefully this doesn't like derail what Mick Kelly has been doing. I don't think it will, but that is a very real possibility where like guys are playing so well, they start to feel really good about themselves and what they're doing, and then they run into a guy like that. It's basically a brick wall, and it bounces them back for a little bit. But yeah, I thought the offense for the Cannons was on fire from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. I think that when you have a game like this, you can't really allow for here it is. Like the start of the third quarter. It's a 5-2 run. Right? And you're already down 4-2. So now you're down 9-4. Like and when you look at who's scoring those goals, Coulter Mackesy, Marcus Holman, Graydon Hogg, and Coulter Mackesy. 2 goals from 2 attackmen, and then you get a midfielder to cash in. All when you can only score 2 goals as well. When you let that offense have that momentum, especially guys like Coulter and Marcus, they have the Ryan Brown disease. When it goes in once, it's gonna go in some more. Like they only need to see it hit the back of the net once, and then they feel like they can shoot anything from anywhere and it's gonna go in. That is a dangerous position to have your defense and goalie in, even if their name is Dylan Ward and company. Because once those 2 dudes in particular start feeling it, you have to deny them the ball, or you're going to lose. And pretty much that's exactly what happened to the Redwoods.
I'm not saying this is an excuse at all, but like on top of that, let's also like put this out there. The Redwoods were down 2 of their starting defensemen in this game. Mm-hmm. You're down Chris Fake, who I think is one of the most unsung, incredible defensemen in the PLL and has been for a very long time. Ever since he got to the Redwoods. And then you're down Cole Kastner, who has just stepped in after, his short little stint of playing basketball and has been unbelievable. And you're playing Matt Wright, which no slight to him, he's inexperienced.
He's been great.
He's been awesome in his short amount of time on the field. But again, he's inexperienced. You have Chris Merle playing close D and having to switch up what he normally does really well. And then you have Cullen Brown, who's a rookie. And he's been great, but he's a rookie. Like, it's a young, inexperienced group back there in front of an all-time goalie who your tendencies change when you have different faces in front of you.
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken in this game, I believe Cullen got the Coulter matchup, which is like what I didn't want, honestly. Um, I wanted him to have Brian Kelly, um, and then to have Chris Conlon on Coulter. But hey, it is what it is. You play with what you get. I don't know this team as well as Chris Collins does, so he makes the matchups based off what he feel will be best. And I don't think it was bad. I just feel like Cullen would have been able to do some things um, to limit Brian that Chris might not have done. And I also think Chris played a little bit more into Coulter's hand. Like I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Chris is right-handed, Coulter's left-handed. Like you're playing strong on strong. Like that, I like when matchups are strong on strong. So that was just like little nuanced things for me. I thought the defense played okay, but at the end of the day, when you let Coulter and Marcus see one go in early, if you ain't got your boots strapped up tight, your ankle's gonna hurt. It's gonna be a long day.
What were you saying? Right-handed, left-handed? I'm just double checking.
I'm pretty sure Chris Conlon's right-handed.
Conlon's lefty.
That explains why the matchups were as they were. So disregard everything I said. Like I said, Chris Collins knows this group better than I do. So there's a reason he went with the matchups that he went with. And for the most part, it did work out, especially later in the game once the Redwoods had their Redwood energy to them. Because that's also something I thought is like, I feel like that first game, it didn't really feel like the Redwoods were playing like themselves in the first half. Like it didn't feel like a Redwoods game. In the second half, they started to pick it up. The only problem was Boston was already in that mode.
Yeah.
And when Boston's in that mode, they're arguably the best team in the PLL.
Right.
When you got Marcus walking around with swag and you got Brian saying thank the Lord on the sideline, you got a long day coming.
Hey, not only was Brian saying that, Brian was not afraid to call out the refs in the post-game press conference this week either, which I was like, oh, my boy is spitting. He was out here. I don't think the PLL fines coaches for coming at the refs.
Also, the coaching interactions with refs right now that are going live during games,
Peak.
phenomenal.
Peak absolute cinema.
I need it. Like, I'm loving it.
Dude, between Bill, what was it, a couple weeks ago, Bill's running down with the refs saying, are you shitting me?
Yes.
Brian was like, let's call a spade a spade. He shoved our guy into the goal twice.
Yes. Yes, he did. Brian is correct.
Oh, it was incredible.
It's been great. Who was that? Bates that got into it with Palin?
Bates got into it. Yep. Bates got into it. AK
I think
loses
it was
voice
off
every
of,
week.
like, I think it was off a reset.
Yeah.
He's like, why? Why? No.
AK
No,
loses
that's
his
not
voice
right.
every week.
I'm like, yes, hold on.
I think Tim
I'm
Sudan's
not
like
the
the
only
only
coach
one who
yelling at
doesn't
refs.
like yell at the refs.
It feels so good to see them crashing out because it makes me feel better about crashing out on my 12U sideline.
It's so funny. It's so fucking funny. Before we keep it pushing, I want to talk to you guys about the PLL app and our PLL App Code. Guys, the PLL app is your one-stop shop for keeping up to date with everything going on in the PLL, the WLL, all season long. Keep up with your favorite teams, your favorite players, stats from every game. You get all the incredible programming coming out of the PLL from the Scoop with our guy Joe Keegan, Freeze It Right There with Ryan Boyle, and so much more inside the app. Plus, it's a gamified app. There's tasks to complete every single day that earn experience points on your account. And when you level up in the app, you unlock perks like PLL shop discounts, ESPN Plus subscriptions, and Deej, one of my favorite things, the discounted ticket prices, which you're all going to need to use Philadelphia weekend, August 15th and 16th, to get your tickies at Subaru Park so you can come see the OTB boys live as we do our annual live Philly show from PLL Philadelphia this year at Subaru Park during Water Dogs homecoming weekend and the WLL championship game. So download the PLL app in the App Store, Google Play Store, or go to pll.app. And when you go to the redeem code section, type in OTBPOD. That's OTB Pod, and you get 500 XP on your account. If you're a new user, it's going to level you up from level 1 to 2 instantly. So get started today in the PLL app and keep up to date with your favorite teams, players, and everything going on across the league in the PLL app. Deej, the WLL, California Palms 16, New York Charging 9. I think this was the best defensive display we have seen from any unit to shut down a friend of the program, even though she still led the team in scoring with 3 points. This was for her standards, a pedestrian performance from Izzy Skate.
Yeah, because I feel like with them playing 11 on 11, like the field feels like it has more space than 10 on 10, which means it's hard to stop someone like Izzy or Kuykendall or Harris Chuck when they're in the open space. Because now it's basically one-on-one. And you gotta keep them in front of you and keep them from getting to their spot, which is almost impossible. But I felt like the Palms did a very great job of man-to-man on-ball defense, but also just being in the right help positions and forcing the ball to be moved multiple times before they could attack again. Those are big things, not only just in lacrosse, but more specifically in the women's game. There's so much movement that happens and so many shots that come off of movement. Forcing teams to use more movement than they would like was huge for the Palms in dominating the pace of this game. I also think, in my opinion, the Palms made Charging play faster than they're used to playing. Mm-hmm. Charging reminds me a lot of like Notre Dame and Ohio State this year, where they like the game to be a little bit slower. They like to take their time getting their subs out. They like to run through a little bit of the shot clock and like make every possession count a little bit more because they feel like their offense can outscore almost anyone, which they're not wrong. They can. But the Palms were like, hey, we're not going to do that. You're going to go fast today. You're going to have to take quick shot opportunities. And if they don't work, oh, well. And we're going the other way. And that was huge in allowing them to feel in control the entire game and kind of relieve some of the pressure that the Charging tries to put on you.
Yeah. I was very impressed with just start to finish the way that the Palms played. It was a back and forth first quarter. Things kind of really settled in that second quarter. And then the Palms just put their foot on the gas in that second half, scored 10 of their 16 points. It was a really, really awesome performance. You know, Anna Brandt is incredible. She was like my MVP of the game. I know Emma Lapinto continued to, you know, put on her scoring performances, 5 points in this one, continues to lead the league in scoring. Ellie Massera, 4 goals in this one. Sam Geiersbuck, future friend of the program, fingers crossed, because Sam's the fucking best. I love talking to Sam in post-game press conferences, and if we could get her on the pod and kind of just have her kind of unfiltered, I feel like it would just be incredible. Sam had 4 goals in this one. Anna Brandt, though, Deej, hat trick, 60% shooting, 4 ground balls, played up and down the field, pure definition of a two-way midfielder. She was spectacular in this game, and truly, like, you know, Emma did her thing, Sam and Ellie did their things. Taylor Moreno was phenomenal, 65% save percentage with 17 saves. Anna Brandt was unbelievable in this game. There's so much of what she did that is not going to show up in the box score, but what did show up was incredible, and what she did that isn't going to show in the box score because it's not a statistical thing, it's just like the little nuance things. I loved this performance. This is one of those that you just put on your highlight reel all day long for Anna Brandt.
Yeah, I thought she played extremely well and was a big part of the success for them. Like you said, it was the small things, the ground balls, the communicating, the getting back on defense, the pushing, transition, and offense, keeping a positive spirit. You're really cheering on our teammates. Like, the things that don't show up in the box score are always 10 times more important. Like, it doesn't matter the sport. When you're doing the small things, you, one, get more play time. You have a bigger impact on the game. Like, you don't have to score a single point in any game if you're doing all the other small things. It will contribute to your teammates scoring points. It will contribute to your team winning. It will contribute to anybody wanting you on their team. Because everybody knows you can score. Everybody knows you can cause a turnover. Everybody knows you can dish and find somebody to score on the backside. But who knows you can pick up a ground ball? Who knows you can get back and stop somebody in transition? Who knows if you have a positive attitude all the time? And those are things that Brant showed this weekend for the entire game. That's also really hard to do is lapse in that. When something goes bad, to not drop your head. When you take in 4 shots in a game and none of them have gone close to being on cage. Like all of these things can start to factor into your mind and make you upset and falter the way that you play. Brant wasn't bothered by any of that, and she was able to eventually get it going and bring a lot of offensive prowess to this team.
Yeah. And I mean, New York had a chance to clinch a spot in the WLL championship game if they won against California. And now their score differential completely neutralized as it's now at a 0. And California kind of sitting in the driver's seat. Obviously, they've got to wait quite a bit before they play again. They don't play again until the final regular season week in August. So they've got quite a long time off. They're off for the entire month of July outside of this All-Star game, but they play again August 8th in Boston against the Boston Guard, who still have 2 games of their own remaining. New York, they have a homecoming of sorts in Chicago with all the Northwestern girls on that roster in July, so we'll see if they're able to lock up a spot. And then Maryland still have 2 games remaining, but to me, it feels like California's really got a nice positioning here, especially sitting with their score differential where it's at, going into this long month hiatus that they'll be on. They've got a +8 score differential. They've got the most scores in the league. They're 2-1. New York's 2-1, but they have a 0 score differential. And then Maryland right behind them at 1-1 with a -1. And then Boston 0-2 with a -7. I'm feeling really good about Maddie Buss and the California Palms right now.
I mean, we've been feeling good about them, for most of the season now. But a huge win like this, I think the biggest thing is like they have to be feeling good about playing spoiler and doing it at home. Like they got the West Coast bump, they've played well in front of their fans. Everybody's loving the pink that they're wearing, and they were the one team to stop the charging in their tracks and keep them from locking in. Their playoff spot. Like that is huge. You have a lot of momentum now. You have more than one win on the board, and you're that much closer to locking in your playoff spot. Like this was nothing but a huge bump weekend for them. Like nothing bad came of this weekend for the Palms.
Yeah. It was a great weekend for them. They got the Palmella, the Barbie doll. They've been from day one the good vibes team. And obviously a bunch of other teams. All the teams have great vibes, but from Jump Street, they have just had the vibes about them, and they're the all vibes team, and they continue to put that on display. And it was a great weekend for the California Palms at home in a massive 16-9 victory over the New York Charging. The Philadelphia Water Dogs, which I'd be remiss if you don't go check out Water Dogs Weekly every single week on Underground Sports Philadelphia, our flagship program here at Underground Industries. We have Water Dogs Weekly Media every single Thursday on Underground Sports Philadelphia. And this week, we finally got him, everybody. We got the man, the myth, the legend. Bill Tierney has called him the best player in pro lacrosse. It's CJ Kirst on Underground Sports Philadelphia this week. Awesome, awesome conversation. Deej, I got a couple of nuggets that I feel like CJ gets asked the typical questions all the time. I got the origin story behind the Nike deal. And how he became the face of Nike lacrosse again, as I like to put it. And I got the origin story behind why he wears number 15. Because it felt like an interesting number for a player of his stature to go with a number that, I don't feel like we always see a lot of attackmen wearing 15, especially at the professional level. So we got the story behind number 15. We got the story behind Nike and how that came to be. And a whole lot more. So definitely go check out Water Dogs Weekly on Underground Sports Philadelphia this week with the one, the only CJ Kirst. On top of that, the Water Dogs coming off a big 11-10 victory over the Utah Archers. These two teams, we said it last week, these two teams always play each other close, no matter what. And CJ Kirst led the charge. 5 goals in this one on 9 shots, almost 56% shooting. And Deej, welcome to the motherfucking PLL, Matt Collison. How you doing, pal? 3 points. Starts it off with a bang with a nasty 2-pointer. also had a 1-point goal in this one, shot 40%. Michael Sowers, 3 assists in this one. Jack Hanna looked great with 2 goals. Josh Yago continues to be impressive, had 2 points in this one. Kieran McCardle, I we'll have to do some research or ask Joe Keegan about this, Deej. I don't remember in our time covering Kieran's career where Kieran McCardle did not take a single shot in a game. That happened against the Utah Archers. He went 0% shooting because he did not take a single shot against the Utah Archers. He did have an assist in this one, but Kieran took 0 shots against the Archers out in San Diego. A great defensive performance from the Water Dogs, too. Marcus Hudgens was phenomenal. Jimmy Freehill was great. Matt Witcher continues to be kind of that steady flow at short stick. Gavin Adler looked great in his return from injury. Kenny Brower did his thing. Brendan Staub looked awesome at LSM. And, I mean, Zach Currier with the most clutch face-off win and ground ball we've seen in quite some time. Just impeccable, and it earned him post-game press conference duties. It was a team effort, and I don't think the Water Dogs win this one unless everyone on this team was in lockstep the way that they were. This was a total team win for Philly.
Yeah, and it feels good. I feel like for Philly, a lot of their wins are on one side or the other. Like either their defense is struggling and the offense is just balling and having to outscore, or the offense is struggling and the defense is having to make a lot of plays to keep them in it and give the offense a chance to warm up. This is like one of the few games this season I can say like both the offense and defense were on point, playing well. And it just sucks that the Archers were like up and ready. Like this wasn't a down game for the Archers. So it did make it seem like the Water Dogs weren't playing as well as they were playing because of how well the Archers were playing. But this was by far, I think, in my opinion, the best game of the season for the Water Dogs so far. Obviously, you had the big blowout win earlier this year. That was really good for you guys as well. But like, I felt like that was more of your defense played so well that regardless of how many offensive opportunities you got, you were going to win. You just happened to win big. Whereas like in this one, I feel like it took everything from your defense, everything from your offense. The middle of the field had to be great, and everybody was. They were on their P's and Q's, and you had the all-around best midfielder in the world go out and do all-around best midfielder in the world things. You had CJ Kurse, who's arguably the best player in the PLL, arguably the number 1 attackman in the PLL, go out and do arguably best player / best attackman in the PLL things. You had Gavin Adler being Depoy, as he is the reigning Depoy. You had Matt DeLuca step up and be the goaltender you felt he could be, and why you traded Dylan Ward to the Redwoods, because you felt like DeLuca could take the spot and be the starter and the leader now. You got all of those things plus some from this team. You had Matt Collison and your rookies help out a ton in this game. To me, Matt Collison was what I felt Nat and company felt like Garrett Degnan was going to be a couple years ago. Come in and splash twos and dodge downhill and take shots and be an integral part. He was that right off the rip, whereas Degnan was a little bit slower to get there. Like all the moves that some people felt were questionable, they're really starting to pan out for the Water Dogs.
Yeah. I was very impressed with Matt Collison. I think he's only going to continue to grow in the role that they're going to have him in, because I love Bill Tierney's quote after the game too, when he said that he talked to Jack Hanna this week because it was Jack Hanna and a bunch of young guys in that midfield. You know, Connor Kelly did not dress. Thomas McConvey got released. It was Jack Hanna and a bunch of rookies. And he said, I'm going to need you to play babysitter this week, which I was cracking up at. And I thought he did a great job. I thought Jack Hanna really commanded that midfield where, you know, it was Jack Hanna, Matt Collison, Josh Yago, Kyle Lewis, and then Zach Currier were your midfielders. Where Zach Currier was more so playing a short stick D-midi role, because you're going to need him to do that for pretty much the remainder of the year unless you go and make a trade at the trade deadline. But overall, like, yes, the offense did enough, and CJ Kirst put on a show. And I told CJ this in 3 games. I know CJ only played 4 games all of last year because of the hand injury and, coming back from college and everything. CJ's already surpassed his point total from all of last year in just 3 games.
And this one was a big help. 5 Genos.
I think if I'm correct, I want to pull this up. CJ has not had a game this year, Deej, where he has had less than 5 points. First game of the season for him in Baltimore, 5 points, 3 goals, 2 assists, shot 50%. Against the Cannons in the revenge game, had the sock trick on 11 shots, 54.5% shooting. And then against the Archers, 5 goals on 9 shots, 55.6% shooting, his best shooting percentage game of the year. I know it's 3 games, and he missed a couple there, and I've seen this talk on the timeline quite a bit. But I do think it's hard to deny it with the way that he's producing. He's got to be in the MVP conversation already.
I mean, I would hope so.
And
who else are we putting in that conversation?
I think the argument is, even though it's 3 games, to me, he's the front runner.
Yeah.
Like, I know it sounds wild to like anoint that to a guy who's played in limited amount of games, but you hope obviously everything continues to go right. He stays healthy the rest of the way, but if he continues at this pace, like what the Water Dogs have, how many games left? Let's see.
I mean, I think there's 3 other people that you're putting in this list.
Water Dogs have 7 games left each.
I'll say
he's right now on pace averaging 5.3 points a game. If he continues to average that for the next 7 games, he's going to score 37.1 points. You add that, to his, what is it already, 16? He's going to score 53 points this year if he continues on this pace.
Right. My thing is, the 5 that I have in that conversation right now: Coulter McAsee, Dylan Malloy, Colin Schellenberger, Logan McNaney, and CJ Kirst. And I would say right now, the only one who's true, my top 3, my top 3 are Logan, CJ, Dylan. Dylan's at the bottom for me. Just based off the way the offenses ran and like the flow of the Redwoods offense. If there was someone to switch out, it would be Schellenberger replacing Dylan Malloy at 3. But I think the top 2 are clearly CJ and Logan.
I like the Coulter nod too.
Yeah, I like Coulter as well, but I don't think Atlas and Cannons are having enough success this year to put them above CJ or Logan.
Right now, yeah. I do like the Coulter, because looking at the stats really, right now,
I think I have Dylan there at 3 because like he's playing so well and he's a big part of the reason why the Redwoods are at top of the West.
Looking at just stats right now, and I know stats don't tell the whole story, but they tell a lot of the story for certain people. Coulter is tied for the league lead in points with 20. He's leading the league in touches with 223. And he is tied for 3rd in 2-point goals with Brendan O'Neill and Levi Anderson with 2. And he's tied for 4th in shots taken this year with Jackson Eicher at 40. That's a great nod, but I do like I get where you're saying too. Like, you obviously have to have the team success for your guy to be the MVP in most cases. But the way CJ's performing right now, season long trajectory, it's going to be hard to not say CJ Kirst is the MVP of the PLL when it's all said and done if he continues going on this stretch that he's been going on.
Yeah, if he's going to play like the best player in the world, you honor him as the best player in the world.
16 points in 3 games.
Yeah, I can't argue with it.
Shooting almost 54% on 26 shots.
Yeah, I can't argue with it at all. It's phenomenal play.
And you'll love this. His shots on goal percentage is 73.1.
Yeah, like that is MVP type talent. That is MVP stats, MVP play. He's to me at the top of the conversation, but like I was talking about earlier, Logan McNaney is.
It's a great nod too.
If someone told me, "Hey, he's my MVP," I'd be like, "Yeah, I could see that."
Yep.
He's only given up 47 goals this year. Has his team near the top of not only the Western Conference but the entire PLL, and he's getting help from the rest of his team.
Yeah, and I mean, the Archers did everything in their power to make this a close game, too. Ryan Steins was great. Sam King was great. Connor Fields did his thing.
If Ryan Steins doesn't win Rookie of the Year, we riot. I'm saying that right now. We riot.
I just need to look at. I don't know why I'm blanking on the rookie class right now.
I mean, he's at the top with 14 points. Spalina's right behind him at 13, so maybe we throw him in there. I mean, the top three for stats, Stein, Spalina, Palumbo has to be your top three for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
But I also feel like Steins is a level above them. Like, not literally, but like Joey came in later than Steins. Hasn't been, like, he's been a big part of their offense, but like there's so many pieces to their offense that they don't necessarily need him to pop off. I'm sorry. I'm watching the Archers this year. If Steins don't got it going, they don't have anything going. Other than the one game where Mac O'Keefe popped off. It's Ryan Steins. He's their number one guy right now, which is insane to say in my opinion. But when you look at the play, look at how the team is playing, look at the flow of their offense and everything. When he touches the ball, he's either dishing it to a wide open guy or he's taking a shot, and most of those shots seem to be on net, and he's cashing in a ton.
Yeah, I mean, points-wise, they're right there. Ryan's got one more point than Joey. 14-13 is the split there. 1 point goals, it's 7-5 in favor of Steins. 2-pointers, they're even. They don't have either. Both of them have 0. Assists, Joey's got one more assist, 8-7. Shots-wise, pretty similar. Ryan's got 24 to Joey's 21. And then shooting percentage-wise, Ryan Stein's shooting 29.2%, Joey's shooting 23.8%.
And he has significantly more touches than every other rookie. Like, Weissauer's the next closest. He's 28 back, and Joey's 30 back. And he only has 3 more turnovers than Joey with that many touches. You know, and then you're looking at Weissauer has 11, and he's got less touches. Like, Steins.
The impressive thing here, too, Ryan Steins, unassisted goals 6 to Joey's 1. Joey has 4 assisted goals to Ryan's 1. Assist opportunities, they're even at 19. Unassisted shots, Ryan's got 21 to Joey's 11. Assisted shot percentage, Joey leads at 40% to 33.3%, so pretty similar there. And then everything else is pretty similar. Joey's turnover rate's a little bit lower at 3.62% to 4.76% for Ryan. And Joey's shot rate is a little bit higher at 15.22, so about a percentage point higher in terms of the advanced stats categories, which I love. Shout out to the PLL stats team for adding all of this onto the stats page. Like the comparison thing, and Ryan's got Joey on the shots on goal percentage by a large margin, 70.8% to Joey's 52.4%.
Like, who else is putting 70% of their shots on net? Especially as a rookie.
He's been awesome.
In an offense where he's forced to create for himself. Like, I think that's the advantage for Joey is, like, he's in this system that works well. And, like, all he has to do is play into that system. Whereas, like, the Archers are still, like, figuring out this system thing that they want to run. And a lot of times you see Ryan just gets the ball and goes, oh, 12 on the shot clock? Let me go shoot. Like, that's insane. Or, like, he gets the ball and he's like, offense ain't moving a lot. Not been a lot of production. I got to dodge. Like,
it's been one game where it was head-to-head, and obviously, like, you're not really comparing that, but Ryan had an offer against the Whip Snakes, where that was Joey's debut, obviously, and that game was ugly to begin with. That was one of the lower scoring games of the year in the PLL, but Ryan, 2 points in his debut, 3 points in the next game.
I'll say, is that the only game he was over too?
Yeah. He had 2 points against the Redwoods, 3 against the Outlaws, 2 against Chaos, 3 against the Redwoods, and then 4 against the Water Dogs.
Am I blaming him for playing bad against a Whip Snakes team that was at the top of their game? Like, I don't want to say Whip Snakes peaked, but like as of right now, that's the best they've been was during that, like
game,
2-3 game stretch.
Ugly. Like that was that 8-5 game, which was the second part of that back-to-back for the Whips, where it was just nasty across the board. But yeah, I mean, Steiner's been great, and a lot of people criticize that pick. A lot of people talk shit on that pick, being like, why are you taking this guy with the first pick in the second round when guys like Matt Collison are still on the board, guys like blankety blankety blank are still there, you're taking the local kid, blah, blah, blah. He's, as Chris Collins so eloquently said, there's 3 U's and shut the fuck up, and Ryan Stein's making people shut the fuck up really, really well so far in his early PLL career.
Yeah, like I remember, like, I wasn't down on the pick, but I just had questions. Because, like, I hadn't seen a lot of Utah this year. I didn't really know a ton about Ryan Steins and what he was going to bring. But I wasn't on, like, the outside being like, hey, this is a horrible pick. This wasn't smart. Like, when I saw some of the highlights and clips and stuff, I was like, oh, this could work out. Like, he, to me, reminds me a lot of, like, Grant / Sam King, Matt Moorish. Like, he's got a lot of little individual pieces of these guys and will fit into their offense pretty well. And then the dude comes out first week and just lays it out on the table. Like, what up? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this dude's for real. Like, he is PLL talent, and we're seeing it first time. It's like, I need people to understand, yes, we all have ball knowledge. Yes, we all watch a ton of games. Yes, we all do couch coaching and couch scouting and all these things, couch GMing. But we're not the actual coaches. We're not the actual scouts. We're not the actual GMs that know who has the true talent to play at this level, who fits into their systems well, who will work inside of their locker room. We just have ideas because we're not in those spaces. Right. I need us, for the love of God, to stop being so critical of PLL draft decisions.
Yep.
Except Aiden McGuire. I'm going to just say that is still looking questionable.
It is, but
I get it.
It's a long-term pick. It's like I tweeted during the Water Dogs game. I said, how the hell did Matt Collison fall to the second round? Dan was saying, like, you know, team is X amount of games in. It's 8 weeks into the season, and he's finally making his debut. And I'm like, sure, I get that for the short term, but the long term, this dude looks like the typical prototype midfielder you want on any team. And I will always question, like, how the hell did Matt Collison fall to the second round?
Well, I think a lot of it is a lot of those guys, a lot of these teams already have a guy like that. And I think the Redwoods, he's a Redwoods guy. He is, like, Matt Collison is a Redwood, right? Like, when you look at all his metrics, the way he plays, how he shoots, everything. But I think the Redwoods have been so traumatized by that build. When you look at Miles, you look at Serge, you look at Dagnon, you look at Bertrand, they wanted to stay away from it. I feel like the Woods are the only team that would have picked him up. I thought maybe the Whip Snakes would have done it to kind of replace Tucker Dordovic and go down that whole line, but they didn't. So I was like, if it's not those two, who else is it going to be? And you guys decided to take them, and it's working out well for you guys. But, like, I don't really see teams, like, a lot of teams didn't need that outside shooter like prowess that Collison brings because they all already kind of have one. I think it was great for you guys, though, because Connor Kelly's starting to, like, not be that 2-point threat that he's been in the past. And now you kind of have somebody who will come in and fill that role when he fully leaves.
Yeah, just from a long view, like, I'm just like, Matt Collison is going to be a star in this league for a long time. And he was great. Steiner was great for the Archers. It was a big win for the Water Dogs going into the All-Star break. And then the OT Thrilla, I didn't think this game was ever going to end the way it was going.
It hurt to watch.
Redwoods 14, Chaos 13, final overtime, Dylan Malloy magic. Ryder Garnsey was, like we mentioned, was great. in this one. Chris Cav had 4 points. Sam English, a hat trick. Dylan Malloy, 2 goals, including that game winner. TD scored off the face-off. Josh Balkersell with a goal. Michael Leo with another goal. Denenza scored a goal in this one. McAdory held in check. But the big story that came out of this one, motherfucking Kyle Hartzell comes out of retirement after not playing for 3 years, gets on a plane on 1 day's notice.
That motherfucker Kyle Hartzell. I swear to God.
Hey, I know a lot of people are saying, Kyle Hartzell putting on for the old man crew and everything. Deej, I got to say this. Kyle Hartzell was putting on for the podcast community out there, okay?
Come on. He said,
hey, you don't think I can drop this mic?
You don't think I can drop this mic and pick up a stick? Hold on, bro. Hold on. Let me trade my hat for a helmet. Let me trade my slides for some cleats.
When he said AK called him and said, you want to come play? He said, what, golf?
Golf? Like, hey, we finna get a smooth 18 in before you head out this weekend? Bet.
Hey, I hit the back 9 with you. No big deal.
I swear to God. I'll have a few great. So you can be feeling good on your plane ride. And he's like, nah, bro. Pick up your stick and your cleats.
Dog, and not only that, he steps in and he shuts down Owen Hiltz.
Who has been phenomenal.
Skip a beat.
At all. Skip a beat. He looked like he had just got done playing. Unreal.
It was insane.
Unreal.
Insane performance from Kyle Hartzell.
Kyle, this is my call out for you to put together a Lake Placid podcast team. I mean, there's me, there's you. We still got Scotty over there.
Pelkey,
Scotty Ratliff is still out there.
Hoagie.
Diggs. No. Yeah. Hoagie can come. That's fine. Can he be our chat GPT coach? Like, I just want him to.
I'll be in the booth with Hoagie. I'll do that.
Bet. I mean, we got the Stick Talk boys. They can all pop back out too. I mean, we got tons. I mean, I'm sure Jordy will give it a run. We can get Nesty out here.
Get Dukes back.
Yeah, like, come on. Let's put it together and go run Lake Placid. Like, I am so down for that.
That's incredible. I mean, we get Jules, former podcaster.
Yes, Jules is out here. Yes. Hey, this is quite. You know what, y'all? I'll just coach. Y'all put the team together. I'll coach it. That'll be perfect.
Oh man.
Or could we get Dan to coach?
True.
Yes.
Hell, Dan might suit up, honestly. Dan's not afraid to bang.
And can we have Mark on the team as honorable mention spot? Like, we know he ain't got no podcast, but Uncle Mark got to come. We got to get him out the AZ heat and get him in Lake Placid.
Great win for the Redwoods. Absolutely needed after the first loss. I don't think Chaos played all that poorly in this one either. Like I said, it was super back and forth, but I think it was like Chaos really fought to get back in this game, and they really slipped up in that second quarter when the Redwoods went on that 5-goal run. It's Dylan Malloy, Ryder Garnsey, Sam English, JB, and then Ryder towards the tail end of that second quarter. That was where this game, I think, was won and was just too big of a hole for Chaos to claw out of. And obviously it goes to overtime. You get that insane 2-pointer from Ty English. Eric Spanos had a really awesome game for Carolina. Owen Hiltz and Chad Palumbo score super late in that fourth quarter to force overtime. And then Dylan Malloy at the 7:36 mark ends it. A lot of people talking about the shove, this, then the third. It was not. If you go and watch everything that happened there, I forget who it was. They got shoved into Brian Tevlin, which then domino affected everything. It was not like an intent. Like, there was no penalty there, and I think that was a great no call by the refs.
Yeah, it's tough. No calls hurt. Missed calls hurt. Good calls hurt. Calls. They're calls and they hurt because they do affect the game to some standard. But you always have to go back to what you did as a team. If you played better earlier, those things don't matter. Like, It sucks. Don't get me wrong. It sucks. And you have like somewhat of validity in asking the questions and wondering why it wasn't called and kind of like somewhat placing blame there. Like I get all of that, but some of it is still on you as a team to go out and handle business. I thought that this was arguably the most fun game of the weekend. Like Sunday, top tier lacrosse all day. You had the 1-goal nail biter between Water Dogs and Archers to open things up. Then you end out with this overtime thriller. Two great goalies going to battle, 51 and 55% for Blaze and Dylan, respectively. Each had 15 saves. And then you get a Dylan Malloy masterclass of getting the 5-5 and stinging the far corner like he does what feels like 10 times a game.
Mm.
It was everything you want in a Chaos Redwoods game. And to me, I think this re-solidified this being a rivalry. Like Redwoods and Chaos don't like each other. They never really have. There's always been a lot of beef there. You have the Ryder Jared beef. You have Ryder being like the only guy who can consistently score on Blaze. You have, all of these things that have happened.
Let's not forget the punches heard around the world. Year one in Chicago between Blaze
Nick Costello and Blaze. Like, you have the trades that have gone down between these two teams. Miles coming over and like all that kind of stuff. Like, there is a lot of history between these two teams, but I felt like the last couple of years, it wasn't as beefy. It wasn't as big. It wasn't as rivalry-esque. And this game felt like it brought all of that back. There was pushing. There was shoving. There was arguing. There was heated moments. There was good play. There were great goals. Like, it had that I hate you and I want to beat you just because of who you are mentality and feel to it. And I'm glad that this rivalry is starting to come back.
Yeah. And I mean, Brooksy said it. He said we can't have games fall into the hands of the refs. We got to do better. I got to have these guys better prepared. And it was a big-time win for the Redwoods there. And, I mean, you look at the standings now in the Western Conference, like the Redwoods are at the top at 4-2 with a +4 score differential. Denver's 3-2 with a +10, so they're right there. With a game in hand, they still have, one more game to play than California. Mm-hmm. Carolina's 3-3 with a -6 score differential, and then Utah 2-4 with a +1. And then in the East, it's Maryland at 3-3 with a +6, Philly at 3-2, game in hand there at a -6, New York at 3-3 with a -7, and then Boston at 2-4 with a -2. I'm also not saying it hurts for Boston, but also them winning this week
helps a ton.
And it's not over for them because New York has a worse score differential, and you're one game behind New York, which I think, if I'm not mistaken...
I mean, we talked a ton about that last week.
If I'm not mistaken, too, those two teams still have to play each other twice. They will play in Fairfield for the first time, and then...
They play again in August, don't
they? Or maybe they already played each other once. Why am I blanking? Yeah, they already played each other in Long Island. That's right. New York beat them once, 12-11, but they play each other again, and it's going to be, it's not over until it's over. And them winning this week was a huge deal for them because they have a better score differential than New York. And obviously New York, got a huge momentum swing for themselves by going 2-0 in their homecoming. But now you're on that bye. You're on All-Star break. Boston's got a little bit of an oomph now, more recently than you. And I don't know. I think it propels Boston to kind of, not throw away this season like it may have initially felt like going into San Diego.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we talked about that last week and like that being essentially a must-win for them because of how their season was going, and them falling so far behind wouldn't have been a great setup for them. Because I do think they still have to play an Eastern Conference team twice later this year. I think it might be the Whip. No.
Yeah, because they've already played Philly twice.
Yeah, I think it might be the Whipsnakes that they have to play twice. I don't think they've seen the Whipsnakes yet. So, like, them falling behind that far in conference was a huge deal. But now that they're sitting at 500 at 2-2, it even things out for them a ton. They have that low score, like -2. You go out and you're winning your next game by 3, you're even, or you're up 1. You know, you're +1. It's like they're in such a great spot because
they have already played the Whips. They played the Whips in Maryland and lost 17-10. That was the first win for Maryland at their homecoming. But they still play the Whips again in Boston.
So yeah, you have 2 more Eastern Conference games, and then the rest is against the Western. But still, you know, you've put yourself in a position to where, because you haven't been getting blown out, you win a couple games, you're right back in the playoffs.
And not only that, you had that buffer zone of that 19-5 win against Philly, where, I mean, dude, Chicago weekend, you have a treat lined up for yourself with these matches.
Oh, I know I do. I was
Philly
just looking
and California, both of those are big. That's a big time game for both teams. New York and Utah, that's a big time game for both teams. Denver and Boston, that's a big time game for both teams. Maryland and New York in the WLL, massive game for both of them. And then the Whips in Carolina, that's a game that could swing either one of those teams' seasons one way or another.
They know how to treat us here.
It's crazy.
And because we know how to treat them. Chicago weekend is always a vibe. I remember being here and I asked everybody how they were feeling about Chicago and if they wanted Chicago to be, you know, could they see that being a place where a team comes, and they're all over it. They love Chicago. They love the vibe. They love the Midwest. And they have a great time playing there. And then, I mean, it's kind of hard not to enjoy playing with Lake Michigan sitting behind you under the lights. Like, you're vibing. You're feeling great. So I'm really excited for Chicago weekend. And then the matchups only make it better.
Yeah. And we've got All-Star this weekend down in Annapolis, Maryland. Sunday at 2 Eastern on ESPN. It'll be the East versus West. And then at 5:30 Eastern on ESPN2, it's the WLL All-Star Game, Team Humphrey versus Team Izzy. Plus, we've got the skills competitions that are going to be absolute scenes. Our guy CJ Kirst partaking in the accuracy challenge this year. Very pumped for that. But on top of that, the fastest shot competitors. Shane Knobloch, Brennan O'Neill, Jake Pacino, Troy Ray, Meg Carney, Bridget Duffy, Emily Harris-Chuck, Jill Smith.
Jared's not defending his title?
Jared is not defending his title. Graham Hossick won last year.
Yes, and he's not in, so it makes
correct.
Sense. Mike, can we call Graham? Can he go against the winner? Just saying. He ain't got to play in nothing. Let's just get him there to defend his title.
That's going to be heated. It's Chaos versus Outlaws in the fastest shot. 2 guys from each team. You got Michigan on the map with Jill Smith partaking, Deej. So you got that, and we got friend of the program Meg Carney competing. And then in the accuracy challenge, it's Marcus Holman, Chris Kavanaugh, CJ Kirst, and Joey Spallina. And then for the WLL, it's Sam Apuzzo, Rachel Clark, Allie Kennedy, and friend of the program, Izzy Skane.
Those are going to be good comps. Are they doing both, I know they're still doing goalie wars, right?
It looks like those are the only skills competitions.
Oh, that's weird. We need more. Let's get back to doing fastest player. Like, yeah, I would love for it to be set up. I love for it to be set up like the NHL, where they start on opposite sides and then have to go around the net and like make a full lap. Like, let's bring that back. Let's bring back freestyle. Like make it a thing. Make it a thing.
Yeah, I miss the fastest player. That shit was fun.
Yeah,
and now that you have the WLL, like, I would love to see a women's player dust one of the guys.
Please, Sydney Black, put her on the line. Put her on the line. Need sick. That.
That'd be sick. Yeah, the relay thing too. I don't know why that's not part of this. I don't know if it's just not
enough timing
or what, or timing wise. Yeah, I don't know. I guess
because I think they're doing. Day. I think they're doing them both at halftime.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, you do only have so much time at halftime.
Yeah, because I know the in years past, it was obviously the day before would be a lot of the skills contests, and then the fastest shot would be at halftime. So maybe because it's 4th of July, like it's just the one day, so they condensed it. But nonetheless, it's going to be awesome. You know, we've got in the fastest shot competition, we've got 3 out of 4 friends of the program on the PLL side. Meg Carney, friend of the program on the WLL side. Accuracy challenge. CJ, friend of the network. Joey Spolina, our guy, competing. Marcus Holman always treated us well. Chris Cav has always treated us well. And then we got friend of the program, Izzy Skane, as well. So a lot of OTB connections down in Annapolis in the skills competition. And then I believe for the rosters, I think they're announced, if I'm not mistaken. Here we go.
Yeah, I got East right here. Starters: Marcus Holman, CJ Curse, Michael Sowers, Jack Hanna, Aiden Carroll, Brian Costabile, Ethan Raw, Ajax Apatello, Brett Makar, Trevor Baptiste, and Liam Entenman. Obviously, Baptiste is replaced by Connor Farrell. And then the reserves: Schellenberger, Pinnell, Spolina, Coulter Mackesy, Matt Trainer, Matt Campbell, Zach Courier, Matthew Dunn, Gavin Adler, and Emmett Carroll. For the West, starters: Dylan Malloy, Logan Wisnauskas, Brennan O'Neill, Chad Palumbo, Ross Scott, Shane Knobloch, Troy Ray, Jake Pacino, Mitchell Dunham, TD Erlin, and Blaze. Reserves: Pat Kavanaugh, Chris Kavanaugh, Andrew McAdory, Sam King, Jarrett Bernhardt, Piper Bond, Bo Pedersen, JT Giles Harris, Brendan Lavelle, Mason Woodward, Jack Rowlett, and Brett Dobson.
Squad. The Archers have the most All-Stars this year.
They have a ton.
7.
Questionable.
7 of them things.
Not that those guys aren't good, but just questionable.
But yeah, All-Star's gonna be great. I don't think we need to do picks for All-Star. It's kind of just.
Do we want to run through women's rosters? I have those.
Yeah,
too
you have the women's rosters.
Yeah. Casey Coma, Rachel Clark, Sydney Black, Jill Smith, Meg Carney, Izzy Skane, Marie McCool, Anna Brandt, Madison Ahern, Allie Mastriani, Bridget Duffy, Amy Moreau, Katie Goodale, Shay Baker, Kendall Halpern, Katie Detweiler, Kaylee Waters, and Madison Doucette. For Team Izzy, Team Humphrey, Aaron Kuykendall, Sam Apuzzo, Emma Lapento, Kenzie Kent, Ashley Humphrey, Cassidy Spillis, Ellie Macera, Dempsey Arsenal, Sam Smith, Allie Kennedy, Emily Horschuk, Abby Bosco, Emily Knowles, Courtney Taylor, Sydney Scales, Kayla Wood, Taylor Moreno, and Shay Dolce. Coaches: Laura DeLuca for Humphrey, assistant coach to be announced, Colleen McGarity for Izzy, and assistant coach also to be announced.
Yeah, they have that the celebrity coaches.
Yeah, and then Mike Pressler for the East.
Do you know who they are?
And Tim Sudan for the West. I haven't seen anything.
I saw it on social. I'm just not familiar with who they are, but
I couldn't tell you because I don't know. But like once I get the names,
pull it up. Teresa Plaisance and Sydney Colson.
I know Sydney Colson. I don't know Teresa.
They do a podcast together, apparently.
Mm-hmm. I know Sydney from something else.
Oh, Teresa played in the WNBA.
Okay. Period.
Okay. She's a WNBA champion. She went to LSU.
Okay. Period. Big hoops.
They host Unsupervised with Sid and TP.
Fire. I might have to tune into that.
They did a clip out there. It was like the WLL called us and they were like, "We don't know shit about this," and they were like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Literally,
like,
that's
all right,
fine.
we're in.
Just show up. Just show up. Your basketball knowledge is enough.
Yeah, they're on the whatchamacallit, the Together, like the company that has the everybody watches women's sports shirts and stuff. It's like their podcast network.
Which, by the way, I need one of those.
I love those. We need the WLL to get a collab with that. and have like, because I got
So I
one at
can wear
I got one at the Unrivaled game.
Yeah. I remember that.
Everyone watches women's sports, but then on top of it says Unrivaled. We need that. Everyone watches women's lacrosse league.
Yes.
I'd
And
be
I will wear
repping
it
that.
so often.
I'd wear it every day.
Oh my God. Please. I need
You have
it.
to peel it off my back.
It's gonna morph into your skin.
Literally, it just becomes like my body.
Because tune in now.
Yeah, we need that. We got to talk to Rachel DeCecco about that one.
Mm-hmm. Hit us up, Rach.
Collab ASAP. The other collab we got to talk about, Deej, that I totally forgot when we were doing pre-show discourse. The PLL got a massive investment this week.
Mm-hmm.
$100 million from Joe Tsai, a number of other investors, Aries, and the big ones that stood out to me from just oh, you're tickling my fancy. Obviously, we know Joe Tsai is at the forefront of everything going on with the bolstering of everything lacrosse. Aries being involved is huge. But Glenn Powell and my guy Rob Mack, formerly known as Rob McElhaney, investors in the PLL, full send. Glenn Powell will be working to bring a PLL and WLL team to Texas, where he's from. Indeed, Rob McElhaney and Ryan Reynolds at the forefront of my brain now. Own the Water Dogs, guys. You want to talk about Welcome to Wrexham? You could do Welcome to Philly with the Water Dogs and blow that thing up to the fucking moon with Rob and Ryan Reynolds behind that.
I don't know. I feel like Ryan Reynolds is a very Chicago kind of guy.
I'll tell you what, Deej.
Welcome
Ryan
to
Reynolds
Chicago
has
with
not
Ryan
been afraid
Reynolds.
to try to buy North American sports teams either, because if you remember a couple years ago, he was trying to put a bid in for the Ottawa Senators, his hometown NHL team, and it kind of fell through. But hey, you want to talk about just getting your foot in the door. I always said I would love to see Rob Mack and Ryan Reynolds own the Sixers, obviously, for a number of reasons. But if they can be one of the owners in the PLL and own the Water Dogs, dude, imagine, this is where my brain went too. Imagine the cameos of these Water Dogs guys that we know very, very well. Imagine them making cameos on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That'd be sick. or Abbott Elementary and shit. Like, yes.
Like,
please.
come on.
But also, it just clicked on me that Minnesota might be the first Midwest team. And Ryan Reynolds might be owning the Minnesota team. Because he's, like, Ottawa's very close to Minnesota, per se. Like, you know, and we know that they have the deal with Epic and how they feel about playing in Minnesota and all of that. Like, Chicago's so much better. Just gonna throw that out there. But I could see Minnesota being issued in first.
I don't know if a lot
Which
of
would hurt.
guys are
That would
with
hurt.
Epic anymore.
I mean, yeah, but I mean the league's pretty big with Epic, and
I don't think so anymore. And that's those like a lot
I mean,
of guys left.
that would be nice.
And I know
Because Chicago to me is better than Minnesota, and that's a little bit of a selfish point because Chicago's much closer than Minnesota.
I'm just saying too. Rob and Ryan Reynolds are working in tandem here, and
But I mean, could you imagine doing Chicago and Philly and like bouncing back and forth between the two? And
dude, I'm already
and just the
seeing,
natural rivalry.
The Wrexham Ale is already sold at Citizens Bank Park. It's the only stadium outside of Wrexham's actual stadium that sells it. There's your jersey patch sponsor. You get the Wrexham guys to come to a Water Dogs game. You send the Water Dogs to go to Wrexham during the off season. Like, there's a lot of potential there, Rob Mack. And let me tell you, Deej, I was not shy this week because shout out to Nick Oxnam for making Water Dogs Weekly happen this week. We were texting back and forth as we were getting CJ scheduled for the pod. I was like, Rob Mack at OTB Philly? Who says no?
Not me.
Not me. He is a bucket list interview for me on any show.
He can come sit down with us anytime.
I love Rob.
Anytime.
But Rob and Glenn Powell
Yeah,
coming to
Glenn
the
got in
PLL
on the action too.
And I mean, Glenn's been field side at PLL games before, and he said, "I'm thrilled to invest in the PLL and WLL and help bring professional lacrosse to the forefront of culture, starting with my home state of Texas."
I mean, Texas is big. We know that. I mean, the Dallas games went well when they went down there. A lot of high school programs, both school ball and travel ball, are popping up. And there's talent. There's talent down there. There's fans down there. Yeah, like there's a lot of good things in Texas for the game of lacrosse. And Texas has money. So if you can do anything to get in on Texas, you probably should.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the people who are involved with the Aries as well. Someone like Minwoo Lee, who is on the PGA Tour, who is also involved in something that feels very PLL-esque in the TGL, the golf simulator league that Tiger Woods founded with Rory McIlroy. That's somebody who you could potentially see get involved in the PLL down the line, in my opinion. There are a lot of people with the Aries connection, too, that are going to really build this up to be something really, really awesome. And you know, there's been a lot of people coming in trying to bash this and have gotten really, like, twisted and bent out of shape because the PLL got another round of investing. Here's the thing, guys. They're building out a business, and my biggest thing that I want to internalize for the pod, we weren't around when the NFL was in year 8. We were not around when the NBA was in year 8. We were not around when the NHL was in year 8. We sure as hell were not around when Major League Baseball was in year 8. Hell, a lot of us were not around when the MLS was in year 8 because we didn't recognize soccer as this sport that it is now. You know, there have been sports leagues that have not even come close to sniffing year 8. And what the PLL has done in 8 years to completely transform the landscape of professional lacrosse as a whole is nothing short of like a once-in-a-lifetime thing that this even worked to begin with. And here's the thing, too. We want to see all levels of lacrosse succeed. I'm very critical of the NLL because they've given us things to be critical about. We've had year over year teams relocating, teams folding, ownership changing hands, teams being left in limbo like they are right now with Ottawa and Philly. That's reason to call out those things and question the long-term longevity, like plan and goals, like the longevity of everything with the NLL. The MLL was nothing short of being criticized by multiple people, players included, at the time of its existence. The PLL, sure, there are flaws, but guess what? The one major difference that I notice from just our opportunities, Deej, and I'm sure you feel this same way, they are so open to taking constructive criticism. They are open to change. They are willing to pivot where they need to see pivots happen. And when you get investment like this, it's going to allow you to do a whole hell of a lot more. And there's a difference between equity and investors. I want everyone to say that with me. There's a difference between equity and investors, because I've seen a lot of people online talking about, oh, I thought the players were supposed to be investors in the league. There's a difference between equity and investors. This is an investment, not equity.
If you don't know the difference between investing and having equity, I'm gonna revert you back to Chris Collins. There's how many U's and shut the fuck up? 3 of them. So count them all up and do it.
Yep.
And also, even if you do know the difference between equity and investing, also still revert to Chris Collins and use those 3 U's to shut the fuck up, because we don't know. We don't have any inside information. We're not in the rooms. We're not talking to people. We don't have the information they have. Is it a possibility the PLL is running out of money? Yes. Do any of us know that or know that at all? No. Are any of us going to find that out? No. So who cares? We shouldn't care.
They're still fully operating
Like, to me, as long as they're operating, they're putting out teams, they're not shutting teams down, and they're not forcing players out of the league.
And on top of that, they have bigger and broader brand partnerships coming in year over year. Remember where we were in 2019 with some of the sponsorships, where we were in 2020, to where we are now, where you see Lexus, you see Whirlpool, you see U.S. Bank. Like,
big time names.
And that's just in 6 years' time from 2020 to now. Like, think about where this is going to be in 20 years, 15 years, 10 years even. Like, we haven't even reached the decade threshold for the PLL yet, and look at what they've accomplished. I get being critical, but there's a difference between being critical and just completely, like, just... There's a difference between being critical and negative, to put it kindly.
Yep.
And there's a
I'm
difference
tired
between
of the negativity.
Just like always having something to say without any substance behind it.
I 100% agree, and it's so irritating. Just let things play out. Like, hey, I don't have a like. I'm not saying you guys are wrong for questioning and having questions and wondering what's going on and wanting to know. Like, that's normal. But what I want you to do is use those 3 U's to shut the fuck up and wait. And then, you know what? If the PLL folds, talk all the shit you want. Go ahead.
I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now.
But if it doesn't, keep your fucking mouth shut.
And I'll tell you right now, the people who are at the forefront, the Joe Size, the Mike Rabels, the Rachel DeCecos, the Paul Rabels, they're not going to let this thing fail.
They know what it means for the sport if it fails. If the PLL fails, field professional lacrosse will arguably not exist anymore.
Nope.
And I think everyone who's in the most important positions of the PLL knows that. And they're doing everything they can to make sure that it does not.
Exactly.
But like I said, if it does, by all means, I will hand you the keys to this thing and you can complain and talk all the shit and everything else that you want. But until then, just shut up and let it play out. Like, and I think we're really good at, like, towing the line. Like, I think we are reasonable about it. We ask questions and wonder things, but we also give the props. And, like, we're not fully PLL to the moon, but we're not fully what the fuck are they doing either. We're down the line with all of it. We want to try and learn as much as we can about it, support and congratulate the good things while questioning the bad things.
And guess what? When you do things like that, we get people like Mike Rabel who are willing to listen to our opinions and listen to other people's opinions who are very positive thinking, but also are not afraid to talk about some of the criticisms and be that down the line thing. And guess what? I am PLL to the moon for a lot of different reasons. I want to see this league succeed because guess what? I hitched my company to the PLL successes. If the PLL falls apart, we're royally fucked in a lot of ways.
Especially the last couple of years.
Okay.
NLL.
We're royally fucked in a lot of ways because I willingly, like, not knowing anything about this sport across the board, hitched my wagon to this sport and said, let's invest in this thing. And look where it's brought us. Okay? There's nobody on this planet who wants to see the sport of lacrosse succeed more than I do from a multitude of ways.
Yes. OTB might be the biggest into lacrosse than anyone on the planet. We need
Underground
this
Industries
to survive.
is the biggest independent media company that is a full-fledged company. Now, I'm not talking like individuals like Dan who are in a similar boat to us and want to see this thing succeed. You know, guys like Dre, guys like, you know, people like Inside Lacrosse, like
Stick
their
Talk.
whole business model is lacrosse. You know, the Stick Talk guys, like there are a number of people who have invested and hitched their wagons to professional lacrosse being successful. And the PLL is a huge part of that. And we are going to want to see it succeed. And when you get things like this, it makes us feel really fucking good about our investment in believing in this sport.
Absolutely. And to me, they're doing all the right things. Do they hiccup, make mistakes, all those kinds? Yes, because they're human. It's an entity. It's going to do that. but how do they respond to it? I feel like the PLL does a great job of responding to their wrongs and trying to fix them and keeping this train moving forward. I have yet to feel like the PLL has regressed.
Yep.
The only thing I would like to see them do, as we have talked about 1,000 times over, is expand game day rosters and active rosters.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. I want to see like an active roster go to like 30, game day roster go to 22 or something like that. Other than that, I think they're doing everything in pace. Like you said, like we can look up where the NBA was in its first couple of years, the NFL, MLB, MLS, all these other sports, NHL, but we weren't there to have like the accurate information on how it looked, how it felt, how it played out, all of these things. We can just see what they're doing now. I would argue the PLL is in a great position compared to a lot of other professional team sports that are just starting.
100%. Like, there's no doubt in my mind through the first 8 years, the PLL is in a better position, like from a monetary standpoint, from a social standpoint, from a product on the field standpoint, than any professional league was through years 1 through 8.
And don't even get me started on the MLO.
Literally, compare years 1 through 8 of MLO to years 1 through 8 of PLL. It's night and day. There were guys walking to CVS to go and get bags of ice to put on their ankles after a game.
They ain't got to do that. We got whole medical staff for the
Literally.
PLL.
We have a medical staff sponsorship.
Like, stop it. Stop it.
It blows my mind when people.
And back
just
then,
want
the
to be
MLL was
openly
leaning,
negative.
like the MLL was leaning on Lacrosse specific brands only.
Mm-hmm.
Jerseys, Warrior, like all this stuff is just Lacrosse specific brands. PLL, do they lean on those? Of course, because they're a Lacrosse brand. They have to some extent, but they also have just regular, big ass companies attached. What the fuck does Whirlpool have to do with Lacrosse other than washing a jersey? Fucking nothing.
Not a damn thing.
What does Dude Wipes have to do with Lacrosse other than telling you to wipe your ass after you take a shit in the locker room? Nothing.
But like, these people come up. Like,
what does U.S. Bank have to do with Lacrosse other than putting your money in a bank? Fucking nothing.
And if you listen to my interview with Mike,
like,
if you listen to my conversation with Mike at Champ Series when he talked about the IBM deal, it was literally a guy walked up to Paul at the Miami GP last year, the F1 race, said, "Hey, I'm so-and-so from IBM. I played lacrosse in college. I love what you guys are doing. Let's work out something so we can work together."
Like, that's also the other thing that like people are forgetting about where money can come from. We talk about it all the time. These guys are still working Wall Street and all these other jobs because they can't play. Well, newsflash, that's a connection, my guy. You know how many people are working in places that are loving what the PLL is doing and now they want to attach themselves to it? Because D3 guys were playing somewhere and now they have a job at some Fortune 500 company, they're going to ask their boss, like, hey, how do you feel about investing in this? Like, this is something I'm interested in. How do you feel? Like, they're up and coming. A lot of people are involved. Connections are everywhere with lacrosse. And all it takes is the right people doing the right things, and we have that.
Like, look at the official partners on the PLL website. It's Nike, Lexus, Whirlpool, Ticketmaster, U.S. Bank. I'm not going to name one of them. Cash App, Progressive, IBM, Beyond Meat, STX, Dude Wipes, Gatorade, Cascade, Warrior, Q Collar, Duke Cannon, Athletic Brewing, Utah Sports Commission, Gate Lacrosse, On Rise, Cenogenics, Forge Athletics, ONS, which is the orthopedic and neurosurgery specialist, the injury partner, TrueFit Customs, and Pearl Lacrosse. And the one I didn't want to name was Polymarket, but you can do your own research.
Right. Phenomenal. That's where you want the league headed.
It's like, compare that to year 2 when it was Ticketmaster and Progressive and Capital One and Sun Chlorella.
Now that I'm thinking about it, like, not even looking back to year 1, let's look at the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
We're already like half as big as the WNBA in 8 years.
Yep.
And the WNBA is in year what? Almost 30? Or it is year 30?
This is year 30. This is year 30.
What are we talking about?
And the
What
WNBA
are
just
we
started
talking
picking up
about?
like full-fledged, like breaking the women's basketball zeitgeist 3-4 years ago.
Exactly. Like they just added
And it's for
Portland
the
and
better,
Golden
obviously.
State and Toronto, and like the Vegas Aces are only like 5, 6, 7 years old. Like they're only like just as old as the PLL.
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about here? This is insane.
And again, they're not a perfect league either. Like the Connecticut Sun are relocating after this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've had relocations in the WNBA.
The Shock went down to Tulsa, and now they're the Dallas Wings. Like
Mhm.
all of these things we're seeing happen in the PLL are happening in other leagues, but it's such a big deal in the PLL. Please get the fuck out of my face.
PLL hasn't seen teams relocate because different
Only
model
one.
and it's worked.
Only one technically.
And it was a rebrand, not a
And it was
relocation.
exactly. Which is totally different.
And in the era of home markets, which was what, 2024 that began, no relocations yet in 3 years.
None. And I don't think we'll see any.
No.
The only thing I could see is like our quote unquote like state teams becoming city teams. So California becomes like San Diego or Los Angeles. Carolina becomes, which Carolina probably won't, because every other team that's in Carolina is just Carolina. Like, you know what I'm saying?
The
Like,
Hornets.
Right. You know, but like that's maybe the only change we see.
And that's
Maryland
a team that's bounced back and forth.
Yeah, Maryland becomes Baltimore. You know, like
and a lot of that, a lot of people don't realize too, like
Utah Utah probably won't change because everything's
Utah won't change. And Utah Sports Commission is involved, and Ryan Smith is going to be the owner of the Archers when it's all said and done. So the big thing that people don't realize too,
Ryan Smith that played for Chaos?
No, not that Ryan Smith.
just had to throw that out there.
People don't realize too. I forget where I heard this, but it's good insight when you talk about sports too. When you see teams that are like the Philadelphia Eagles, the Philadelphia Phillies, you see teams like the Detroit Pistons, Detroit Red Wings, and then you see teams like the Utah Mammoth, the Utah Jazz, where it's a state. You have the Minnesota, Vikings, you have the Minnesota Twins, Minnesota, like stuff like that.
Yep.
And then you have like the Los Angeles Dodgers. You have, the Seattle Mariners. Teams that have the city are getting city funding. Where the teams that are named after a state, you're getting full-fledged state funding. It's a difference there. So when it's all said and done and those teams are in their home markets in the PLL and WLL, it's a lot of it's going to come down to where they get their overall funding from when they have ownership groups and stuff like that. Are they getting it from the city or are they getting it from the state? That's also something to think about. Not that it has anything to do with this conversation, but it's good to know, like, that's where your funding is coming from.
Absolutely. 100% good to know.
But yeah, that's a good point. Like the PLL, I think, is leaps and bounds ahead of where the WNBA is. And like, this feels like the past 3 or 4 years of the WNBA is almost like a new era of the WNBA, where this is like their PLL moment compared to their MLL past.
Yeah.
Comparing the last, let's say since Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, their last year in college really sparked a lot of this.
Yes.
That's like they're entering into the PLL era. And then you get Unrivaled and all of that kind of stuff. The PLL is leaps and bounds ahead. And that's not a bad thing for the WNBA either.
Like they're on pace. They're doing well for where they should be now. Like with the business plan that they put in back a couple years ago, like they're pacing well. But the PLL is by far in a better position. And I just picked that league because I feel like that's like the newest one to compare to. It's a great comparison. Especially because WNBA is growing. Like people aren't as invested in other women's sports as they are in women's basketball. And so it's growing at an exponential level, just like the PLL is. So it's a perfect comparison. But then when you look at it, like you said, PLL is leaps and bounds because of how fast they're doing this work.
Yeah. It's really awesome to see the investment there. Shout out to Mike and Paul. Shout out to Josiah. It's sick. Yeah, I loved waking up to that news. That was like some of the sickest news to wake up to on a Tuesday morning. So here's to more and more successes for the PLL moving forward. DJ, any final thoughts before we get up on out of here and head into All-Star Weekend down in Annapolis, Maryland?
I usually have a roll Woods, but they ain't playing. Enjoy All-Star Weekend. I mean, I did pick West to win. I did pick West to win. That was based off goaltending purely.
That's valid.
And I can't believe Logan McNaney is not on the West squad. Or was he the reserve? Let me check that real quick. I don't want to be wrong. Because I do be wrong.
No, it's Dauber and Blaze.
Yeah. Which, like, you're not wrong to pick Dauber and Blaze. But, like, I was literally glazing Logan earlier. He's the best goalie in the PLL as of this year. Like, right now, he is playing like the best goalie in the PLL. Mm-hmm. So it's just shocking for him not to be on an all-star roster to me.
It's going to be fun seeing Gavin Adler back with his Atlas boys. Seeing that interaction. Because I'll tell you what, them Atlas boys refuse to refer to him by name. Whenever the Gavin thing comes up, them boys just say, hey, you know, people move on, blah, blah. They refuse to say his name in any sort of media. It's wild.
I like, hey, I'm that petty, though. I would be like that, too. Yeah, that one dude left.
I got to ask you one thing. As the CLC at this company, the chief LeBron connoisseur.
I can't even tell you where he's gonna go, bro.
If he comes to Philly,
we're gonna spend a band on some tickets.
Nah.
That's what's gonna happen.
Duh.
we gonna get as close as we can. That's about all.
Philly, bro, I can't stop looking at that whiteboard. That
whiteboard's hilarious.
The fact I can't stop looking at the star that he put next to Maxey's name.
He likes Tyrese Maxey and the way he plays.
No, he does. They have the same age. It's the same age.
Cleveland got bounced because Darius Garland isn't there anymore. So
Which
I think
is
they're going to be off the
because
list.
Rich Paul is his agent.
The Wizards are off the list.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to make it.
I think it's down to 3 teams. I think they're mentioning Denver just because it's Denver and Jokic and Jamal Murray are there.
I think it's about the golf.
I think it's down to 3 teams. I think it's Miami.
Miami definitely
goes to
there.
Miami.
Miami's up there.
I think it's up there, but I don't think he goes back.
I don't know, man.
I think it's Philly has a real shot.
They do.
And then I think it's Golden State.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think Dallas and San Antonio have serious shots, too. Like, all I can think about is that golf angle. He was like, listen, this is not a financially driven decision. I want to be on a contender, and I want to be able to play golf year-round.
Yeah, LeBron, you know how
Indoor
many...
and outdoor. So.
LeBron, you know how many 5-iron golfs we got in Philly? And, you know, we got some of the finest establishments that have held PGA Tour events the past couple of years. Come on down.
Those are probably the top 5. The 3 you mentioned and the 2 I brought up. Like, and I guess 6, because I guess Houston Rockets were listed too.
And I mean, like, yeah, Cleveland might be out, but I think you always have to just keep them in the mix because it's Cleveland. But if LeBron comes to Philly, bro, I will feel so vindicated for 2018 and Matt, Dom, and I laying on the fucking floor down here in the studio waiting for that fucking decision and then getting the notification, oh, LeBron's team is meeting with the Sixers, just to fucking tell him that he's not signing with the Sixers.
That's tough. I really wish he'd pick
that starting 5 That starting five, if he comes to Philly, is disgusting.
I just wish he picked Detroit. Him and Cade would go so fucking nutty.
Dude, Maxey, Jaylen Brown, VJ, LeBron, and Embiid.
I don't think that would be y'all starting five. I think they would push VJ to the bench. Because who do y'all have coming off the bench?
That's the thing. We outside of Jaylen Brown, we've signed Dean Wade, who LeBron would take his spot.
You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all don't really have depth, which might keep him away from y'all.
Well, we drafted, what's his name? Who I really like. LeBaron Filan Jr.
Nah, he's a bucket.
He's a dog.
He's a bucket. That's who the Pistons should have drafted, for real, if I'm being honest.
We have Trenton Watford off the bench, Dominic Barlow. I think Jabari Walker is back. And then Trendon Watford.
Yeah, but I don't know that.
And then Dean
the Spurs is interesting. Because so many of those guys are young and on young contracts, which means they definitely have the money to pay LeBron. If you put LeBron with Wemby.
I look at it like this for LeBron too, where he's 41, 42. Obviously he's won championships, but the East is so wide open. I know the Knicks won and they still have a bunch of that core, but
I mean the West is
the East is there for the taking.
The West is open for the teams he's considering in the West are at the top of the West and could win it. And if you put LeBron on that team, they probably win it.
I need LeBron in Philly. I'll sign up for 2 years. I'll do whatever Clutch Sports needs me to do.
Clutch, Rich, you heard the boy. We a package deal, so
I'll play Adele on repeat on all streaming platforms for the next 2 years if I need to.
Listen, Rich, it's two of us, so we'll do whatever. We a package deal.
Build the loop so Deej can get season tickets for LeBron in Philly.
Please build the loop. LeBron going there, and if he signs like a 4-year deal, would like guarantee me moving to South Philly.
I need LeBron here, man.
Like so that would take Baltimore and like every other city right off the map. South Philly is,
dude.
Like South Jersey, here I come.
I'm just picturing the Iverson era LeBron 23 jersey. It would be an instant purchase.
Yeah, you should. I probably would get it too.
That thing would go.
That would guarantee
platinum on the boardwalk.
That would guarantee me South Jersey living if he moved there.
I need it, man. Come on, LeBron. Don't listen to Hoots. Do not sign with the Colorado Mammoth.
Which would be hilarious. Dog. Talk about the loud house, bro. The first time LeBron runs out, that building might blow up.
And then on top of that, speaking of lacrosse and basketball, Pat Spencer signed with the Phoenix Suns.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you see Mark say we called dibs on him on our ULAX team? Could you imagine seeing clips of Pat Spencer playing ULAX?
Oh, just tell him to pull up, though.
That would be insanely dope. If we had that man playing ULAX in Arizona with Mark. Mark, make it happen, bro. We're counting on you.
Oh, man. That is all we've got for you guys. Make sure you're following us on the socials at OTB LaxPod across the board. Subscribe to the pod. And, of course, subscribe to both the Underground Sports Philadelphia and Outside the Box Podcast YouTube channels. YouTube.com/@OTBLaxPod. YouTube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Enjoy the All-Star game. Enjoy the All-Star break. We'll be back here getting ready for the second half of the season next week when the PLL and WLL head to Chicago out there at Northwestern Medicine Field at Martin Stadium Friday, Saturday. A loaded weekend of lacrosse. A loaded weekend. We'll be breaking it all down. Tune into Water Dogs Weekly this week. Check out my sit-down with CJ Kirst. It was an absolute blast. And this has been episode number 434 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, number 11 Philadelphia ranked the most disrespectful and unprofessional lacrosse podcast you ever done, seen, and heard in the land. It is the Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Industries Podcast Network. For Deej, I'm KB. Enjoy the All-Star games. Enjoy the skills competitions. We'll see y'all back here next week. But until then, we're getting the heck up out of here, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.